For administrators, managing SharePoint feels like navigating a moving target. The user interface receives continuous updates, constantly shifting familiar menus and burying core settings. Relying on visual menus creates operational friction. Every layout change demands extra clicks and wasted time simply to locate basic administrative panels. The chaotic user interface dissolves to reveal what powers the platform, a permanent, highly organized application directory called the server hive. By typing specific file paths straight into your browser, you bypass the visual layer and interface directly with the engine. This underlying schema is remarkably stable. The core directories have remained intact from on-premise 2013 servers all the way through to modern SharePoint Online tenants. We are going to map this hidden anatomy. We will break down the exact paths that separate site-level layout pages from farm-wide controls and observe how the programmatic APIs follow this exact same logic. True administrative speed comes from treating SharePoint as a programmatic engine and commanding it directly. Looking at this isometric model, SharePoint's administrative access splits into two distinct operational tiers: a centralized farm core on the left and a distributed network of site collections on the right. The left side represents the farm-level control plane. This zone is accessed entirely through the _admin directory. This directory manages the physical infrastructure. It is where you navigate to web application list.aspx to configure hosting, or cntdb admin.aspx to manage your raw content databases. Shifting over to the distributed network on the right, we find the _layouts directory. This serves as the application layer for specific site collections and subsites. Here, the controls are localized. You use this path to reach storeman.aspx to check storage metrics for a single site, or user.aspx to handle local permissions. Because modern environments often need to support legacy assets, SharePoint employs a system of Hive versioning to maintain backward compatibility across these pages. You force the server to load a specific generation of the layout controls by appending a 14, 15, or 16 directly after the Layouts folder in your URL path. Recognizing the separation between the admin and layouts directories ensures you target the correct zone, preventing farm-wide errors when adjusting a local site. Zooming into a single site node reveals a localized internal structure, the _catalogs directory. This repository stores modular building blocks like web parts under the WP folder and list templates under LT. Locating these assets provides access, but the server rendering engine adds another layer of control, functioning independently of the visual interface toggles. This demonstration shows a standard data table view. By appending the query parameter $env equals webview to the URL, we pass a direct instruction to the server. The navigation and header bars instantly dissolve. Swapping that parameter to env equals embedded strips the interface down even further, formatting the raw data perfectly for an iframe integration. And applying env equals webview list forces older legacy library formats to render seamlessly within the modern Microsoft Lists interface. For administrators, this parametric approach is highly efficient. It allows rapid isolation of data views for reporting or embedding without permanently altering the page design. These query parameters aren't separate file destinations. They are real-time programmatic commands that override the default visual rendering engine on the fly. Managing settings and layouts is a matter of file structure. Extracting raw data requires shifting focus to the platform's data access layer, the REST API. The core rule of SharePoint's API is that the programmatic endpoint schema directly mirrors the logical hierarchy of the website. In this side-by-side comparison, the logical URL path on the left functions exactly like the API call on the right. The hierarchy starts at the top. Sending a request to _API/site targets the overarching site collection. Stepping down one architectural level, _API/web isolates the specific subsite you are querying. From that web level, you traverse laterally into a list by appending get_by_title and passing the list name. Finally, adding /items extracts the exact data rows contained within that specific list. Executing broad calls on a massive enterprise list poses a serious operational hazard. Pulling thousands of unrefined data rows simultaneously routinely causes server timeouts. To prevent this, you append the select parameter, like $select equals ID, title. This acts as a strict filter, forcing the API to process and return only the specified fields. Grasping this API path means you don't need to learn a separate programmatic framework. You can write robust automation scripts relying on the exact same spatial logic you use for manual navigation. This unified model maps the true shape of the platform. We see the central admin core, linked layouts and catalogs, site nodes, and API query paths cleanly overlaying the data structures. Each zone functions as a distinct, specialized toolset with strict boundaries and predictable behavior. Committing a sequence of UI clicks to memory builds a fragile workflow. The moment a visual menu is updated, that knowledge becomes obsolete. Direct endpoint targeting replaces that fragility with permanence. You execute exact commands instantly, entirely unaffected by cosmetic redesigns. Because these paths form the bedrock of the system, they apply universally to your environment, surviving version upgrades and tenant migrations intact. Mapping these underlying directories shifts the administrative workflow. This technical mastery allows for direct execution at the speed of HTTP, independent of the website's visual layer.